Right now at 11, election workers collecting ballots with a bag. A TikTok video raises questions in Clark County why officials say it's all on the up and up. Also tonight.
We're here. We're not leaving. You know, this is our neighborhood. We're very proud of it.
Stepping up to help in a dangerous part of Portland. An organization makes it their mission to help those in Old Town, even as the neighborhood gets more dangerous.
But first, crews shift from one wildfire to another as flames break out near the Dalles. We talked to those who had just moments to flee their homes.
This is KGW News at 11.
Thanks for joining us, and we begin with flames and smoke from a brush fire billowing into the air in the Dalles. Buildings threaten, people evacuating on the east side of town right near I-84.
Our Alma McCarty spoke with fire crews getting the wildfire under control this evening as they work to determine the cause.
Several agencies responded to the fire in the Dalles on Thursday. And while firefighters knocked down the 8 to 9 acre fire, the Mid-Columbia Fire and Rescue Chief said it's not fully contained.
The initial fire calls came in after 9:30 in the morning. Windy conditions fueling the brush fire right off the interstate.
Had some pretty significant flame lengths. We did have some structures threatened in the area.
Some of those structures were businesses.
It's a little too close for comfort. We sent home some people early this morning, just make sure everybody got to stay safe.
And homes.
I saw the smoke on my way home and I kept looking. I was like, that's not by my house, that's not by my house. And then I noticed it was right by the overpass, so kind of blew past a couple fire trucks and got home. About it, I think.
All right, obviously the video froze there, but let's tell you about the other fire that's going on. Crews are working on a wildfire near the town of Maupin. This is the Miller Road fire, about 30 miles south of what you saw in the Dalles. Spread to more than 10,000 acres, making it Oregon's largest fire of the year so far. Right now, crews say they have a pretty good handle on the situation, but they're really working to contain spots that are still burning to ensure it does not get kicked back up again by that wind, that westerly wind we've seen all week. The cause is under investigation. For those living in that area, fire officials remind you, keep an eye on those evacuation levels and leave if you feel unsafe at any time.
With these fires burning, let's bring in meteorologist Chris McKinney in for Matt tonight.
And Chris, how are things looking in Wasco County right now?
In short, better, right? For a couple of reasons. One, the humidity levels have come up a little bit. The wind has eased off a little bit, and the temperatures, which have been extreme across the East Gorge and much of north central and central Oregon for not only the last couple of days, but really the last 2.5 weeks. All of those conditions are improving. In fact, right now in the Dalles, the west wind has eased back to 14 miles an hour. So that's a good thing, right? It's not going to go completely calm, but it's certainly better than the 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts that we were seeing earlier today. And here's a look at Futurecast tomorrow afternoon. There will be some west wind in the gorge, but it won't be as strong as it was today. Breezes will be quite strong at the coast, and there will be a pretty good breeze down in south central Oregon as well. And I'll highlight more on that in just a second. But real quick, where the Dalles have been and why things went from, really nice and wet to all of a sudden we're worried about brush fires is that the weather just turned on a dime to scorching heat. Okay, if you think it's been hot here in Portland, this is what the Dalles have done this summer. 25 days already 90 or hotter, 14 days 100 or hotter, including a string of 8 straight days, and they hit 112 twice on back-to-back days last week. So all of that helps to dry out those fuels and sets the stage for, any spark could light a fire, right? So the cooler temperatures today are certainly great news there. The Dalles only hit 82, and they'll probably be in that territory again tomorrow. And across the state, obviously, we enjoyed a nice cool down here in Portland as well. Real quick, I did want to mention there is some significant fire danger across south central Oregon tomorrow, specifically from Lakeview west towards Klamath Falls and the south central Cascades for the potential of lightning strikes in our forecast there. I'm going to walk you through that and have a look ahead to some more hot weather in our weekend forecast. I've got all that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Chris. Just a little bit of an update on the fire in the Dalles along I-84 on the east side of town there. No injuries, no fatalities. It did destroy a homeless camp, but no other structures. Fire crews staying on scene overnight just in case of flare-ups there. So a little bit of good news there. Well, let's update you on another one, the McKinney fire. This is burning in Northern California near the Oregon border, and it appears to have stalled. at least when it comes to growth. The fire has now torched close to 59,000 acres. It's about 10% contained, but rain and lower temperatures really helping out crews here, though 4 people have died in connection with that fire. We'll keep an eye on all of these for you. For the latest updates, continuing coverage on the entire season 24/7. Just download our KGW News app or head to our website. That is kgw.com.
After almost 3 years, authorities have made an arrest in a murder outside the Democratic Party headquarters in Portland. In October of 2019, Sean Keeler died when a car seemed to deliberately hit him in northeast Portland. The Oregonian reported he was hit after leaving Cider Riot, a bar popular with left-wing activists. Today, police announced they arrested 47-year-old Christopher Knight for Keeler's murder. Police say at this time they don't believe the crime was politically motivated.
Well, now to the recent string of murders in Old Town. 2 people, 1 shot, the other stabbed to death in less than a week. And now a nonprofit that's worked in that neighborhood for more than 8 decades says they have seen a drastic shift in safety, and they've even made some big adjustments. Catherine Cook shows us the struggle and the pain from their point of view.
I mean, it's disconcerting, obviously,
In Old Town, the recent streak of deadly violence is not lost on those who live to serve here.
We've had to take measures, in terms of staff, that we walk with each other. It's just being extra vigilant.
Jason Christensen is executive director of Union Gospel Mission on Northwest 3rd and Burnside. They provide homeless services and a program for men recovering from addiction. For Christensen, watching the violence unfold hurts.
We have people that are really killing themselves on an installment plan.
Take Tuesday morning. Police responded to a deadly stabbing on Northwest 5th and Davis. Court documents say the suspect, Judy Ann Edmond, stabbed Stephanie Hack in the neck multiple times. Police later found Edmond in a nearby tent. The man she was with told officers he and Edmond had just smoked meth together before they arrived. Court papers go on to say Edmond told officers a man who was nearby during the stabbing was her grandfather, and his eyes told her she had to do it to stop the pain and to save people. For Christensen, it points to growing and changing concerns over drugs.
In the last 6 months, there's this new strain of methamphetamine it's fentanyl laced that's going around, and what we have seen is a little more erratic behavior among users.
For that reason, Union Gospel Mission is continuing to serve meals to go rather than bringing guests indoors again, which they had hoped to be doing by now.
Because of the volatility, it only takes one individual that we had to be very careful and measured about things.
Much of the recent violence is also gun-related. On Friday, police say 19-year-old Lauren Abbott Jr. was shot and killed near Northwest 5th and Cooch. 2 others were injured. And over the weekend, in the same area, another shooting. Police found a man who'd been shot in the torso. He lived, which is amazing when you see the dozens of bullet casings left behind. This is what it's like now. But for Jason Christensen and Union Gospel Mission, this is not everything.
We're here. We're not leaving. This is our neighborhood. We're very proud of it. I mean, we clean our sidewalks twice a day, and we want to be a beacon of hope for the neighborhood.
Police are still looking for information on all of these cases. As for Edmond, the stabbing suspect, she's charged with second-degree murder and unlawful use of a weapon. In court this week, she pleaded not guilty. Laurel, back to you.
Union Gospel Mission, a real beacon. Thank you, Catherine. Now let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. Today, the Biden administration declared a public health emergency in the battle against monkeypox. That allows it to collect more data about cases and vaccinations, accelerate vaccine distribution, and access emergency funds. As for vaccines, health officials right now are focusing on people who believe they may have been exposed to the virus.
Well, the Coast Guard is working to clean up a fuel spill caused by a capsized ferry in Astoria. Crews will be removing anything that could potentially pollute the Columbia. They essentially need to refloat the whole thing and then drain out the diesel and oil. The ferry partially sank last week. It is still unclear why. Crews, though, have been able to absorb much of the fuel with booms put out around the ship.
And tonight, a missing baby is safe. Police say he was born premature and his mother disappeared with him against hospital wishes. A PGE worker who'd heard about the missing mother and baby spotted their car in southeast Portland this morning. A Portland officer then found them in a camper trailer nearby.
I mean, we never would have found him. We wouldn't have known to even look there. We had no reason to be in this area. And so he really gets all the credit, and that PG employee is the real hero.
Baby Z was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but police say he appeared healthy.
That is great news. Still ahead, a